Breaking news, PDP governors move to stop emergency rule in Rivers State. They just have to do something, I'm telling you. They need to support this FUBARA. What is going on in Rivers State is very, very terrible and unacceptable. Unfortunately, PDP has a lot of saboteurs in it, and that is why Wike is succeeding to mess around with Rivers State. That is just the bad part of the whole game, and it's quite unfortunate. Okay. 11 governors elected on the platform of the People Democratic Party (PDP) have filed a suit at the Supreme Court challenging President Bola Tinubu's power to impose emergency rule in Rivers State and suspend its democratically elected officials. The suit filed on Tuesday specifically questions the legality of the president's proclamation of a state of emergency in the oil-rich state, his suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara and other elected officials, and the appointment of a sole administrator to oversee the state's affairs. The Director of Information and Public Relations of the Supreme Court, Dr. Festus Akande, disclosed the filing of the suit. President Tinubu had on March 18th announced a 6-month state of emergency in Rivers State, suspending Governor Fubara, Deputy Governor Mrs. Ngozi Odo, and all members of the State House of Assembly. Vice Admiral Ebot Ete Ebas, retired, was subsequently appointed as the sole administrator to manage the state during the suspension period. The National Assembly later backed the president's decision, a move that drew swift condemnation from PDP governors and various leaders across the country who described the action as unconstitutional and a dangerous precedent. Reacting formally, the 11 PDP governors representing Adamawa, Enugu, Osun, Oyo, Bauchi, Akwa Ibom, Plateau, Delta, Taraba, Zamfara, and Bayelsa states are now seeking judicial interpretation on whether the president possesses the authority to suspend elected state structures and impose unelected leadership. Very bad. So the suit marked SC CV 329-2025 is anchored on 8 legal grounds and was filed through the respective attorneys general of the plaintiff states. So, okay. So all the attorney generals of the PDP states came together to file it. So among the key questions raised by the governors is whether upon a proper construction and interpretation of the provisions of sections 1, subsection 2, 5, subsection 2, 176 and 180, 188 and 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can lawfully suspend or in any manner whatsoever interfere with the offices of a governor and the deputy governor of any of the components or component 36 states of the Federation of Nigeria and replace them with his own unelected nominee as a sole administrator under the guise of a pursuant to a proclamation of a state of emergency in any of the states of the Federation, particularly in any of the plaintiff's states. So they further asked the Apex Court to determine whether upon a proper construction and independence of the provision or interpretation of the provisions of sections 1, subsection 2, 4, subsection 6, 11, 4, and 5, 90, 105 and 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can lawfully suspend the House of Assembly of any of the component 36 states of the Federation of Nigeria under the guise of or pursuant to a proclamation of state of emergency in any of such states, particularly in any of the plaintiffs' states. So in addition, the plaintiffs asked the court to rule on whether the president's threats to suspend governors and their deputies under the emergency rule, doctrine do not violate the country's constitutional structure. So whether the consequent threat by the first defendant acting on behalf of the president to the states of the Federation, including the plaintiff's states, to the effect that the offices of the governor and deputy governor of the state can be suspended by the president by virtue of a proclamation of a state of emergency is not in contravention of the provisions of the sections 1, subsection 2, 4, section 6, 5, subsection 2, 11, subsection 2, and 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 and inconsistent with the principles of constitutional federalism. So according to court procedures, the defendants are required to enter an appearance within 14 days of being served the summons. This is a good move. So if PDP is challenging, of course, the power of the presidency in what they have done, then that would be great. Because I tell you, the illegality is just getting too much. The impunity exhibited by APC started with Buhari, and now Tinubu has taken it to the apex level. Is just unfortunate. And that is why Nweke is doing what he's doing in Rivers State. The illegality is just getting too much. And this is how the same apex court and the judiciary, everybody just came together to including the INEC, or led by the INEC, to do what they did in disenfranchising electorates of Nigeria in 2023. It's quite unfortunate, I'm telling you. So let's see. We know that judiciary is in their pocket. The question is, the Attorney General Federation will come to the aid, and then will tell the Chief Justice of the Federation what to do. And then all of them will tell the Supreme Court justices or judges what to do as well. I know that it will get to that point. It will get there. They will go now, and then they will tell them, before you know it, they will say the case is overtaken by event and technicalities that we don't even understand how the technicalities will come. So it's quite unfortunate that this is happening in this country, that presidency will just unilaterally suspend and remove a governor that was duly elected and not appointed, and then appoint an illegal administrator to take over, all in the name of pursuing state of emergency to restore peace in the state. Meanwhile, there's so much trouble going in Benue State, in Borno State, and in Plateau State. He has not gone there to make sure that the trouble that the bandits are bringing to those states is stopped. Okay, look at what is happening now in Benue and Borno State. Look at what is happening in Niger State. They have not gone there. A whole bandits went and took over military base in a military camp in Niger State. They didn't do anything about it. And now they are chasing Rivers State because that is where they have power. It's quite unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate. So now that the PDP governors have come together, challenging the power of the executive, the power of legislators in allowing this illegality to take place in Rivers State, let's see how the Supreme Court will handle it. Let's see how the Attorney General Federation and the Chief Justice of Nigeria will handle it. Let's see how the presidency will react to it, because I know that they have put themselves together against the Nigerian state, and that is very unfortunate. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment over this fresh move that is being made at the Supreme Court by the PDP governors in the country.